I came down here, say about 2 minutes after the blast. The train crew who were in this office here were already out and down the tunnel. They were absolutely fantastic, so quick.
At Edgware Road, manager Steve Gosker was starting to see passengers emerge from the bombed Circle Line train.
So this was the main area of activity, these stairs, because by the time I got down here, I could see the train down the tunnel there.
907 get a call from Steve Gosker. He doesn't know what's gone on down there, but there's a lot of people coming out with blackened faces and covered with blood. This was the first I said to him, does it look like an explosion? And he even then, putting the words into his mind, he said, something's gone badly wrong down there. We don't know what it is. You have to imagine that Steve's there and, you know, a professional, level-headed railway operator, but what he's seeing is something that he's never seen before, and he can't, it's not adding up. It's not put, you know, he can see people coming out and they are walking, they are wounded, so he needs to gather his own thoughts and actually have a good picture of what's actually going on.
They were walking along the edge of the wall there, very orderly, but obviously some quite bad injuries, very burnt sort of faces, cuts and bruises.
There's very narrow gangways between each car. There's a lot of trip hazards, which is what, you know, impressing on people all the way while we were getting them out, that, you know, go slowly, you know, watch where your feet are, you know, that sort of thing. And it's a very narrow, rickety staircase in the front of the train, and so it takes quite a while to get people out. So there's no way, really, we could have evacuated people any quicker.
Gary still had a long walk ahead of him from the platform at Russell Square.
The train is approximately 650 metres from our westbound platform, so it took us quite a while to get there. The further we went into the tunnel, the harder it was to see, and at one point we couldn't see further than a hand.
5 minutes later, he reached the train.
And it's a sight I'll never forget for the rest of my life when I got in that first carriage. The roof of the train was completely gone. There was very seriously injured people and had parts of their limbs missing, obviously fatalities, things like that. I just walked to the people who I thought needed my help the most. Not that I could do a lot, but I just gave them reassurance, spoke to them, told them not to worry. There was help on the way, please bear with us, there are people coming. This lasted for approximately 40 minutes. I was down in the tunnel on my own.
Because I was at the back of the train, we were all taken out down to King's Cross, and there were these two enormous blokes who just heaved people up the, you know, from this very deep, you don't realise how deep it is. So to see the underground staff was enormously reassuring, and they were so calm, even though they didn't know what the hell was going on. You know, they were incredibly calm, and I think if they'd shown any hint of panic or not being able to cope, it would have just been dreadful for everybody. It would have kicked something off.
We'd known by now that we had 3 incidents, all reporting large explosions. And this is the first time we think, well, this is terrorist activity. We decided from then we'd go to the Code Amber.
London, the whole network's closed, I'm afraid.
Code Amber is an emergency procedure in which the entire underground network is evacuated by the quickest possible means. This was the first time many passengers above ground were aware of a problem. By that time, emergency services had arrived on the scene.
What I think was probably so amazing was that, you know, all the underground staff who had been there for the first however long it was by ourselves sorting things out in our flimsy uniforms, and then there were all these people with, you know, huge great coats and breathing apparatus and all sorts of gear. You know, it looked like they'd just landed from another planet.
The ERU were called off their routine training to attend. Joe Walsh's team was sent to Edgware Road.
Yeah, there's people in Marks and Spencer's, they're in this building here. I'm in the station 4 course, so hopefully, there's nobody seriously injured. But looks like there is. But all blocks are down there, they're training the passengers at the moment.
And what was the actual size of the explosion?
We don't know at the moment. Can't really say.
It was only then that the scale of the destruction started to become apparent.
There was the explosion and blew the back windows out of ours, and we got covered in glass and everything, but the second carriage is pretty badly damaged. It was ripped apart quite severely, so I'm not sure what happened there, but it was pretty bad.
I've got his surname.
How are you, mate?
The area there was just like a battleground. There was people everywhere, all over the floor, covered in blood and what have you. And we had station cleaners here actually pouring cold water on people's burns. That's just the level of things we were dealing with here. And to be honest with you, nothing can prepare you for that. But we just got on with it until the emergency services arrived, and then we worked very well as a team together.
By then, Ellen had emerged from King's Cross Station.
It's a miracle, really. We were probably only down there for 40 minutes. I can remember when I got outside King's Cross Station, this was before the phone network died, looking at my watch and thinking, if I could get a cab, I'd only be 15 minutes late. Not realising, of course, that, what on earth was going on in London and, everything, because I didn't know anything about why would I.
Due to a major emergency in central London today, there are no...
Across the network, stations were closing down. News had come in of a fourth explosion on a bus. At Hammersmith, the extent of the damage was gradually becoming clear to manager Andy Anthony.
What exactly are they saying on the news, Brian?
There have been a number of casualties, some serious casualties, as well as what the London Ambulance Service terms walking wounded, and there have been a number of fatalities. I'm unable to give you the exact number because things are still relatively confused.
All right, Brian. No, thanks for the call, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Yeah, if you look at the map of where the blasts have come from, then it sort of points in that direction, doesn't it? Coming more this way. So, yeah. Anyway, let's not speculate. Let's wait and see what's published.
We've never, ever seen something like this before on the Underground. A lot of people, a lot of experience to see a board that says everything's suspended. Never, ever seen it before.
I used to be group station manager at King's Cross. When I heard the news, I was just very, very worried. I did text some of the duty station managers that I know up there, one of whom did get back to me. It was good to know he's okay, because you do sort of think about these people when they're there and feel for them, obviously.
There was little more that Andy and his colleague John Kuman Singh could do that day.
I've been working for this company for 38 years. And you tend to think of passengers, although they don't appreciate it, probably they don't appreciate it, but we see them as our business. And when I drove a train, it was my train. When I supervised the station, when I was an inspector, supervised the station, it was my station. We here in the group, and I'm a manager, and I work with. And I manage at any one time 7 stations. They're my stations. And when people start blowing up people and killing them and pulling our systems down, how could you take it? It's like a personal attack.
Chaotic to start with, extremely well managed by all the emergency services thereafter.
At all 4 stations, ERU teams worked around the clock to recover the damaged trains.
There was bodies everywhere, some holes, some not. First of all, you're worried about where you're walking, because obviously you don't want to disturb anything, and also slip as well. But it's mostly shock hits you. Now coming back now, thinking about it, to you right now, it's actually coming back, and it is quite a startling thing to see. We know they're dead. And God help them, but what can you do? You just got to make it as good, best as possible for them.
I didn't think I'd been anywhere near a bomb. And then I went and watched the television. I turned into a real news junkie, and they kept sort of doing these sort of, diagrams. And I kept thinking, well, where was the train that I was on? There's the train that the bomb was on at King's Cross, but where was the train that I was on? And it suddenly, I can remember, it was about 2:30, I thought, my God, I was on that train.
When you come back up into the ticket hall area and you speak to the councillors after, and they say, think about how many people you have saved. It's, I suppose you've got to look at the positive side and not the negative side.
We've got a job to do, and we do it to the best of our ability, you know, and I hope we did do a good job on the day, and I hope we don't have to do it again, but if we have to, I think we'll all be here, won't we? Yeah.
They didn't stop and question about their own safety at all. They just, all they wanted to do was help. That's all they wanted.
A honeymooning couple managed to win Jane over tonight in a bid to make their flight, but what works for some doesn't work for others, it would seem. For battles at the boarding gate, tune in to Sky Real Lives for Airline at 8 tonight.